Hello, and welcome to our Tween and Teen Fandom Kit demo with the Public Library of Brookline. My name is Robin, and I'm a teen librarian at the Brookline Village Library. And I'm here today to show you all how to make an Avatar the Last Airbender-style bending prop. Is this your first Public Library of Brookline to Go program? Here's how it works. Each month, the library is offering new take-home program kits, complete with everything you need to follow along and video or written instructions created by one of your local librarians. The best part? Absolutely no due dates. You can keep everything included in your kit. Visit brklib.com to go for a full list of our current kit offerings and follow the link there, or visit brklib.com/eventbrite to reserve yours for free pickup at any library location. Now let's get started. For this kit, you will have gotten some fishing line, 2 dome lids for drinks, two split key rings, a number of washers for weight, an eye bolt, and a nut. You should have 1 lobster clasp, some fusion tape, which is like double-sided tape for fabric, and then you should get 2 colors of fabric, one that is a darker opaque fabric, and one that is sheer, which is organza. So first, you're going to want to make the line that will attach the prop to your hand. So you need to take the fishing line and measure it so that it's the same distance from your wrist to your shoulder, and you want to double it. So you need twice the length from your shoulder to your wrist. And then you want to tie one end around one of the key rings and just make sure that it's even, so fold it in half and then tie the knot around the key ring. You'll want to tie it a couple of times to make sure that it will hold securely. Then you want to attach the other end to the lobster clasp. Put it through the ring of the lobster clasp and make sure that it's doubled, so it's the tail end of both strands, and then tie a knot around that ring. Tie 4 or 5 knots to make sure that it's very securely tied and that there's no chance that it will come loose. Get out your super glue, and as always, be careful with super glue. It's very strong. You don't want to get anywhere that you don't want it, so be careful. We give you the gel super glue, so it should be a little easier to use. Put the glue on the knot of the lobster clasp to make sure that it will stay tied. You don't want it to come loose at any point. Then you let it dry. And then we want to build the weight. For this prop, you're going to need to use the dome and the bolt. Put one of the washers with the bolt through it and put it on top of the dome lids. Add the extra washers to the other side, kind of inside the cup of the dome. You use the nut and you screw that on so that the washers are now trapped between the top and bottom of the 2 dome lids. Now the lids themselves may bend a little bit as you screw it tighter, but that's okay. It won't cause any problems with how the prop will work. Use the super glue again to secure the nut so that it won't come unscrewed when you're using the prop. You don't want the weights to go flying. And make sure that that also dries. Now the next step is to attach everything together so that it will work to make it seem like you're bending. So you take the other key ring and attach it to the loop of the eye bolt. Then you take the lobster clasp and attach it to that key ring. The other key ring is where you would wear it on your hand so that you will be able to use the prop. Next up is your bending. Each of you should have gotten 2 different kinds of fabric. One is opaque fabric that's fairly satiny, and one is more sheer. And when you look at the fabric, you'll see that there's a shiny side and a dull side. Lay it down flat on a table. Fold the fabric in half along the shortest edge. Make sure that the shiny side is the one you can't see and that you can see only the dull side facing you. Once you've got the fabric folded in half, you want to unfold it, keeping track of where the center of that fold was. And then you want to make sure that you keep a little bit of an opening where that fold is, so that you'll have a place that will be an opening for the prop to go through. You're going to stick the eye bolt through that hole. Now the fusion tape is like double-sided sticky tape, but for fabric. So if you cut a little segment of tape and then put it onto the fabric, it will hold just like you were sewing. Take the fusion tape and you put each little piece of fusion tape along the edge of the fabric. You go about a ½ inch down from the edge, like you would when you were making a seam and sewing, and you just need to keep sticking the tape along that edge of the fabric. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, it won't matter for the prop. Double check that there's enough of a gap so that you'll be able to place the eye bolt through that hole. And then you just peel off the backing of each of the pieces of tape that you've put down. I would do it 1 or 2 at a time. You don't want to do it all at once, so you can control when the fabric is folded over. So you make sure that there's the gap, and then you fold it over and press it down firmly so that the fabric sticks to the tape. And then you just keep doing that. Go all the way down, do 1 at a time, and attach the fabric so that you're creating a seam that will hide the rough edges of the fabric where it's been cut, and will make sure that that doesn't show once you use the prop. So as you can see, the seam is there, it's pretty strong, and then once you turn it inside out, all you can see is the seam, and then there's that little gap at the fold, which is where you'll put the eye bolt through. And then, once this color is done, you want to do the other fabric. So grab the organza, which is the sheer fabric, and then go through and do exactly the same process. You want to fold it in half along the shortest edge, and then use the tape to make a seam. With the organza, it's sheer, so you might see a little bit of the adhesive as you peel it off, but it won't show through. With the bolt, you want to drape the fabric around the dome lid with the bolt at the top, and make sure that it comes poking out that little hole that you made. And then you want to do the same thing with the sheer organza layer so that you have a second layer of fabric that's a little more see-through. And they just go through that gap in the top of the fabric that you made when you made the seam. Then you want to attach the whole thing, so you just take the split keyring again and you attach it to the bolt. And then your prop is done. It'll take some practice. If you want to try bending, I recommend going outside. And you also have to be careful. You don't want to whack anybody, yourself included, so don't do it too near anyone else. Use it like a ribbon almost. Make it go through the air. Now you see with this first video, the fabric was actually too long. The organza was too heavy and didn't flow in the right way. So I went ahead and took the prop and hung it up and then trimmed the fabric again so that they're about the same length. Thank you all so much for celebrating your fandom with us today. The Tween and Teen Kit program is generously sponsored by the Friends of the Brookline Public Library and the Brookline Library Foundation. Mark your calendars for Monday, May 10th at 7 p.m. to reserve next month's kits, Our May Stress Less kit will be an origami suncatcher kit, and our May Fandom kit will be a Totoro crochet project. We would love to see what you made with your kit, so please feel free to share your project with us on social media using the hashtag BRKLIB2Go.